difference. The Democratic Party tends to be the party of minorities, of blacks, Jews, immigrants, Latinos. Republican Party tends to be the party of white natives. And you're absolutely right. In a number of Republican-controlled states, they have adopted policies that are going to restrict the ability of voters to get to the polls, making it more difficult to register and vote, particularly voting ID. They've adopted policies saying you have to present a picture ID at the polls, and sometimes even proof of citizenship. Well, who are the people that are least likely to have voter IDs and proof of citizens? The minorities, the immigrants, and the less affluent people. So there's a big battle over this, one of the biggest battles in the United States right now, with the Republicans saying we need to do these things to stop voter fraud, and the Democrats saying, hey, this is a thinly disguised political attack on the constituency of the Democratic Party. And no doubt, if these laws stick, and they're being debated now in the American courts, they will reduce the turnout for the Democratic Party, no question. I can't tell you how much, but they will have an important political effect.
And this comes to our last question today. Did you ever decide to change your keys from the first time you made them in 1982? And is the citizens' thinking not changed all these years? And do you expect the same to continue in the future?
Who has asked it?
This is from Sandeep Yadav.
Oh yeah, thank you. Great question. And the answer is a simple one. I give them one word: no. To paraphrase Shakespeare, the keys are like the Northern Star. All the other stars shift, but the Northern Star stays in place. The same 13 keys that we used to predict Ronald Reagan's re-election in 1984 are exactly the same 13 keys that we used to predict Barack Obama's election in 2008. And they're the same keys that we developed retrospectively by looking at past elections from 1860 through 1980. So one of the big lessons of the keys is there's been enormous stability, not in who votes, not in the economy, not in the technology of elections, but in the way in which Americans vote. Will I change it in the future? Not unless they're wrong. And then, of course, I'll just retire rather than change the keys. But we have an old saying in America: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Allan, for a very stimulating question and answer session.
Thank you, Mr. Pai, for having conducted this session. And we would also like to thank Dr. Lichtman for responding to each question meticulously. Thank you so much, sir. Before we go on for the formal vote of thanks, we would like to felicitate our speaker and the guests for the day. My request, Sheridan Agarwal, to kindly felicitate Dr. Allan Lichtman with a memento.
Thank you very much.
My request Ms. Valenzuela to give a memento to Ms. Angela Genzer.
May I get two? I guess that's the value of having two organizations. What's yours? You want to say?
And I request Mr. Sunil Singh Varad for the key to kindly give a memento to Ms. Rasleen Kalsika. Thank you. I now request Shrimati Gauri, Director, State Institute of Rural Development, SPIPA, to cast their vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is always the most difficult part. I would really like to thank you, sir. It's cliche, I know, but if we were to give keys for presentations, I think Professor Lichtman would win hands down. The biggest key would, of course, be for energy. I don't think we can have a more stimulating lecture. We couldn't have had a nicer thing that could happen to us at 45 degrees in the month of May in Ahmedabad, in SPIPA. Thank you very much, sir. Not only to you, but I would like to use this occasion to thank Angela and Christine for being with us today and for bringing Professor Lichtman to us and giving us a new insight into how the US votes, why it votes as it does, and what would be the likely outcomes. I would use this occasion to please give our most heartfelt thanks here in SPIPA to FICCI for making this event possible in such a gracious manner. I'd like to use this occasion also to thank members of the media for being here and for giving this event such a patient coverage and not being running around while this was such an interesting lecture. I'd like to thank each of you, our students, our guest faculty, members of the bureaucracy who are retired and do visit SPIPA occasionally. Thank you very much for being here. We in SPIPA believe this is an age, as Professor Lichtman said, of collaboration and cooperation. And we use these occasions when we can actually bring guest speakers who are interesting, who are stimulating, to give us a new perspective here, because SPIPA has always been an institution of excellence where we have tried to bring things for our students and for the young officers who are posted here on training to give them a new perspective. Thank you each of you for being here and for being with us today.
I'd like to